LTD Sailing School and Yacht Brokerage.
We'll teach you to sail and then help you find the boat of your dreams.
LTD Sailing, living the dream.
Hi, I'm Chris.
I'm Crystal.
We're with LTD Sailing School and Yacht Brokerage. We're here in beautiful Prickly Bay. Gorgeous day out here. And what boat are we on today?
We are on Big O. It's
Big O.
2024 Leopard 45, owner's version.
Okay. Nice boat. Yeah, really nice boat. Owner's version. So it's got the whole starboard side is one cabin, large head forward, nice cabin back. Two cabins on the other side, both with in-suite heads.
It has the buddy cabin in the front as
Oh, buddy cabin. I find that's the cabin where you don't put your buddy. You put the guy you don't really like that much. Even on a boat this nice, I'm sorry, but those little crew cabins up forward are rough at best. Let's say that.
So it's got the buddy cabin on this side, and then it's got the bathroom for the crew quarters.
For the crew quarters on there. So they kind of split it up. So that's nice. At least you're not, if we're forcing them to sleep in a little coffin, at least they don't have to sleep on top of their toilet.
Yeah.
They got to give them a little separation there. That's good. So I like that. Just walking around this boat, one of the things that catches my eye, this boat has the most solar I think I've ever seen on a boat.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. That you could probably use some more batteries to capture the rest of
Yeah. From what I was looking at, we're looking at, I think it only has 400 amp hours of lithium, but it's got a ton of solar.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some math really quick and tell you, so I can tell you exactly how much it is here. What we've got is we've got 7 420 watt flat panels. That's almost 3,000 watts of solar. That's a lot of solar. So this boat is definitely capable of being off grid for a long period of time.
Well, like this, what would you say would be normal for solar?
Half that,
Half of that? Wow.
maybe less. 1,200 something instead of almost 3,000. Yeah.
So looking around this boat, they have so much things on it. Like it was like when they ticked the box of all the extras, they just got carried away and ticked everything.
Just ticked them all. Yeah. Why not? Yeah, I guess go for it. Go for it. Yeah. So yeah, massive solar. Just looking out just behind us in the cockpit area out there. A lot of these boats come with just a sort of fiberglass gel coat table out there. Really nice custom wood table out there. I like that a lot. And it gives it just a little more warmth to the boat, I feel.
There's the bench seat that can flip back and forth so you can use from the back and be comfortable.
Yeah. So it gives some versatility there. It also allows that bench to be storage, right? So you flip that thing forward, you can get in there. A lot of times they'll put the life raft in there. Sometimes that's where all the shore power cables go, things like that. On this boat, the life raft is actually up on the hard bimini, just as you're going up into the upper lounge, which is probably a better location. If you need it in a hurry, you want to be able to get to that thing. You don't want to have to figure out, open up cupboards to get to it. So that's
good. It does have everything. It's got the front porch. It's got the upper lounge. The captain's, the helm station is separated, and the stairs for going up to the upper lounge are separate from the helm station. So you don't have to step over the skipper to get where you're going.
Yeah, which is nice. It kind of gives that separation, feels a little bit bigger. Yeah, I'm used to maybe more like with the Fontaine Peugeot layout where you actually go up from the helm station. And so it's a little confusing. If you're used to that, you turn to go up. It's like, nope, I got to go the other way. But nice setup.
Platform to push down and you can put your feet on it so you can actually... People like me, I can stand on it. I can look at all the corners.
Nice. And did you check it out? Could you see all the quarters? Nice. That's what I found. I didn't use the step, but I found I could see 3 corners really well. I can see the starboard bow, starboard stern, port stern, perfect. The port bow is a little tricky. The reason that's important, if you haven't watched like all the videos I mentioned this in, seems like every time, is just when you're maneuvering through close quarters, tight anchorage or marina. If I can see all 4 corners, I feel really good about maneuvering that boat through the tight areas. When I can't see those, I kind of lose track of where everything's at, and so it just makes it a little trickier. But the other fact is that personally, I'm going to jump through whatever hoops I have to to dock on the helm side too, right? So if I'm coming up to a dock, fueling, whatever it might be, I'm going to spin the boat or do whatever I need to do to get that boat so I can dock on helm side. But you know, occasionally something comes up where you just can't do it that way. And so there you go. You have that option you can always go the other side.
Yeah, I think the front porch area is always a nice bonus. It's more.
Well, they started that like with the Leopard 44s, right? You and I, when we first moved to Grenada, we lived on one of those for a few months, I think. And they're an awesome boat. We sailed those a lot. They used to be really prevalent in the Sunsail moorings fleets, and we were running all our classes on those boats. So that's where we first got to meet that front porch area. The reason it's so nice, one, it just gives you more social areas. You've got a front area, you got the top area, you got inside, you got out back in the cockpit, wherever, you know, lots of just breakout areas for social gatherings and stuff. Or on social, maybe you don't want to talk to anybody. I'm going up there. But the other thing that's really cool is here in the Caribbean, when we're in the trade winds, all the boats, the wind comes from the east, the boats point to the east when they're out at anchor. And in the morning, that front area gets a ton of sun. But in the afternoon, this back area just gets blasted. It's sometimes just too hot back there. And so it's really nice to have that forward area to go up to. I've got shade, I got cool breeze, beautiful views, and I can just sit out there. The other thing is right now we got the AC on. We're being spoiled, being a little soft, but the amount of ventilation you get through that forward door when you're at anchors is huge. As we know, right? We had early on a little story. Yeah, Crystal brought down this set of really nice Kyocera ceramic knives, and I thought, that's genius. They stay sharp. They're really great. They'll never corrode. They're perfect. And then we found out, they also blow off the counter and fall down and shatter. So, so much for that idea. So, talk about that helm for a second. Let's go back to that. 3 electric winches. So all your lines are ran back. I think there might be a couple halyards that are at the mast, tied off the mast right now, but everything can run back. And then you've got 3 electric winches to run everything. So
Easy
to run the boat shorthanded. But also there's a RAM mic there. So we got the main radio is here at the helm station. There's a RAM mic, remote mic. So it means I can change the channels, change the squelch, do everything from that remote mic right there at the helm, which is where I need it, right?
Yeah, you don't want to yell for somebody to go down and fix it.
Hey, go listen to the radio. Turn it up super loud so I can hear it up here. Yeah, no, that's nice. Another thing we talked about the cockpit with that nice table. There's also a refrigerator out there. Yeah, this boat has tons of cold storage. Yeah. I think you pointed out, maybe even a little bit too much, right?
Yeah, for a 1-week charter.
What we're normally doing on these boats, yeah. So we've got the drawer system right here, which those are great, really nice to organize your provisioning. We've got the cockpit fridge for beverages and stuff like that. And then this boat's actually equipped with a Dometic dual zone fridge freezer, which is great if you're doing long passages, if you're going up to the French islands and you're going to come down heavy with some nice saucisson and French wines and cheeses, maybe that comes in handy. But for what we're normally doing, going out for a week at a time, it's a little bit overkill. Yeah, so maybe that's a small change we'd make for the way we use the boat, I would say.
I was looking at the jib. I think it's a little smaller than.
Well, it's the right size for a catamaran. Let's say that. Oh, that's a nice way to say it. So on most catamarans, we've got the mast very far forward, means we've got the majority of our power coming from that mainsail, that big high roach main. That's where all the power comes from. It's also the reason that catamarans will wind vane, right? You might have heard if you're in heavy winds, you got that main in too tight, and you try to turn away from the wind, that big main might just keep you pointed right up into it. So what that jib is doing, it's a little bit smaller. It's more like a blade, and it's there just to offset or to balance that mainsail. So if when I'm trying to point, trying to go upwind, I'm going to have everything in tight, and hopefully I can get that to balance nicely. But that's what I would call a proper catamaran design. We'll find there are some other catamarans out there where they've moved that mast further back. Sometimes you have a compression post right here in the middle of the saloon. I hate that. But also then you get where everything's driven off the Genoa or the jib, and we have a really small main.
Can you give an example of what type of boat
Well, I guess the one I was thinking of is one nobody's heard of, is that Nimble 36.9 that we're actually have listed for sale right now. Great boat, really cool, innovative design, but the mast is really far back. I also think about some of the lagoons, some of the smaller lagoons, and even some of the smaller leopards. They started trying to do it, and to give them fair shake here, it's a lot easier to roll and unroll your jib or your Genoa than it is to raise and lower your main on most boats. So we find I see it happen all the time where I see people maybe being a little bit lazy. They're bringing out the jib, the Genoa, and they're not even bothering raising their main. Well, if I've got more Genoa, that might make that work a little bit better. It's just different, but I would prefer a catamaran layout with the mast forward, small jib, big main, full batten main. That's how it should be. Yeah, yeah. Well, and just the way I'm thinking more about sail handling and how the boat performs is going to be more conducive with that. Um, did you see the stern shower on this boat?
I did not.
It's really cool. I actually surprised. I should have pointed out to you on the frame. You guys can probably see it right behind me. On part of the shower, I'm sorry, the solar frame on one of the uprights, they've plumbed in the shower. So we actually have like a big rain head on the back of the boat right there. Really cool. I mean, usually you've got like a little squirt on, you like spray yourself. It's okay. It's better than nothing. But that's we're taking it up a notch right there. Yeah. Yep. So the stern shower, super cool. Electric davits for the dinghy lift, right? So that's nice. Yeah. One thing I think we should talk about right now is that we're doing this video on this boat. This boat's not for sale. What's the story on this boat?
It's in our fleet.
This is in the LTD Sailing School sailing fleet. This is a sweet boat. If any of you guys have done sailing schools out there in different places, the quality of the boats that are used in sailing schools are usually pretty rough at best. Second tier charter company kind of stuff. Little rougher boats that have been around the block. Maybe they've been gotten a lot of use. We really pride ourselves in the fleet that we use. But I'm not going to say all our boats are at this level. The owner approached us. He didn't have an ability, just his schedule didn't allow him to use the boat as much as he wanted to. So he came to us. He said, "Hey guys, what do you think about putting this in the sailing school fleet?" And basically like, "Hell yeah, let's get that boat down here." So we have really just a beautiful boat and really nice. And to be fair, I guess, to our sailing school fleet, our previous flagship catamaran was a 2019 Fontaine Peugeot. What was it? Siona 47, which just left the fleet as this one was coming in. So really nice. I would have loved to have them both. Would have been a great combination, 1-2 punch there. But having this boat in the sailing school fleet, being able to offer this to our students that are coming down here, that maybe they're thinking about a boat like this for themselves, and they want to get the feel of this. What is it like to go sail one of these boats? Is this really what I want? And so, yeah, come down and learn on it, right? We could do skipper charters. What we would do more from their sailing school perspective is what we call a cruise, crew, and review, which is actually a cool opportunity. Even if you've been sailing for a while, maybe you got your ASA certifications, maybe you haven't bought the boat yet, or you maybe just bought the boat and you want to build confidence, you want to work on certain skills. Our cruise, crew, and review course is one where you write the curriculum, you come down, and we practice whatever it is you want to practice. Friends or family.
And then they want their spouse to come and take it as well. So they cruise, crew, and review. Maybe their spouse doesn't really want to learn how to sail, but to be able to see what it feels like to actually live on a boat.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, this is a great opportunity to experience one of these boats before you go out and buy it. Of course, if you're going to go out and buy it, let me know. We'll help you with that part too. But yeah, this one is not on the market. This is one of our boats in-house. Just flip the page here. Let's talk about the interior. Why doesn't it have an oven? Well, it has a lot of lithium, though I would argue maybe it could use a little bit more. Tons of solar, lots of off-grid power options. So yeah, what it has is an induction cooktop, and then it has a microwave. Does that microwave? I think it might do a convection as well. So yeah, it doesn't have an oven, but it's kind of has other ways to make up for that. And realistically, how much baking do we do?
I was thinking about that too. I was thinking in 20 years, I don't think I've ever used an oven.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've had a few classes, every year we have a few classes go out over Thanksgiving. We like to put the little turkey breast on there and have our instructors cook a nice old American Thanksgiving. You can do that.
It doesn't heat up the
whole cabin as much. Yeah. Yep. That's it.
so much nicer. It looks so much cleaner, like the countertop spaces.
Yeah. One thing you might be fooled over there is thinking that the dishwasher's an oven. This boat actually has a dishwasher. Now, on our courses, I think we're having our students actually do those dishes by hand, but it's there. Sure enough, it's there. But really nice layout, I think, for the saloon in general. Yeah.
It folds out and it also comes down. It makes it into just a coffee table, so it opens up the area.
So like it folds out and twists to make a big table, like a big dinner table. Folds down to make this nice table that we're working with. And then, yeah, it's on a pedestal. It'll go up and down. I don't know. I don't see the switch, but I know it's electric. This will actually go up and down. And then there's a cushion that fills in here to make this like a big day bed situation. Yeah. Watch movies. We got the movie screen over there.
I like the curtain system on this boat. You can't see it.
They like just tuck up. Yeah. And they're on this little guide string. So when you pull them, they just pull down. Really nice. Yeah. And the articulated ones at the front, actually, some genius came up with that. Yeah. Very cool. That's all good. Really nice, like kind of indirect lighting. We've got kind of the mood lighting here. We should be filming this in the evening. You could see that perfectly. But that's nice. Yeah. You can just leave them there, let them dry in that drainer, or you go sailing. You don't have to worry about putting everything away first. Yep. Hide the mess.
One of my favorite features is the slim can drawer right there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I hadn't noticed that.
I love that on a boat because you pull it out, it's got lots of room. You don't have to like dig underneath the drawer to find it. You pull it out, everything's right there.
Yeah.
It's very convenient.
One other really cool, convenient feature that's kind of a hidden gem on this boat, and all these Leopards like this, it's not just this one. Right when you come in, just at the base of this settee we're sitting on, there's a little drop-down drawer that opens up. That's got all the breakers for the windlass, your electric winches, the davit system, all that is right there. It's just nice that it's super accessible, right? It's not hidden away. We don't got to run down below one of the hulls and get stuff out of the way. It's bother people. No, it's right there. And when you need to reset one of those breakers, you usually need to do it quickly. So it's great that it's right there, super convenient. And then also just walking through the boat, we saw there's right here at the nav station, there's a remote control for the autopilot. If it's nasty out and you're standing watch from in here, you got great visibility, totally legit to stand watch from inside, but you can actually steer the boat from right there as well. Pretty cool. And there's also an actual non-wired remote for the anchor windlass. So really nice little convenient touches, really just well thought out on the creature comfort side of things for sure.
The owner's version is always nice. They have a complete apartment over there.
Yeah.
This one has a washer dryer.
Yeah. So you go down there, you've got that kind of that privacy screen that slides in. So you've got the whole entire, side to yourself. Nice privacy feature there. And then
It's front loading and it's at eye level.
Yeah. Sometimes they're like down super low and you have to like bend down to get to them, or sometimes they're up too high. It's at a nice level. They're always small, right? I mean, you can't run like a home-sized washer dryer on a boat this size. And a lot of times it's going to be more convenient to have somebody else do the laundry for you. There's somebody on shore right here, just across the parking lot, right? They'll do it. There's people who come pick stuff up. But if you're out there in the Tobago Keys and those towels or swimsuits are getting a little too funky because you've been out there for a week, you want to get them freshened up, it's right there. It's easy. Yeah, that's great. We like the separate shower down there. Big shower on that owner's side. Electric flush heads. Really nice, convenient stuff. I did have to look around, though, for a minute. It took me a minute to find the rocker switches, the flush switches for it. I'm like, where are they? I know I can tell it's electric flush toilet, but I just don't see the switch. But I found
things I found on this boat that I like is the recessed window, the hatches,
Okay.
hatches, so you're not tripping.
Oh, on deck when you're walking around. Yep. And a lot of the newer boats are doing that. You will find some of the more custom boats. Balance is a big one. I think they might have started to go to recessed hatches on some of their models. But I know on the early ones, when we used to be involved with them, it was just too hard to get the hull molds correct to where everything worked with the recessed thing. So it's a really nice feature. It looks great seeing them just flush mounted like that. And on the big production boats like this, yeah, they can do that. They're pumping out enough of these, they can make it happen. You do have to have good drainage, right? You don't want water to build up there, and then when you open that hatch, it goes. So you got to figure out the drainage situation. There's a couple trickier things to that, but yeah, it's a cool feature. What else? Spacious, tons of storage down on that owner's side. The hanging closet space. I don't know if you open those up, but lots and lots of space, like a real house. You know, we don't want to go down that road, but yeah, there's some derogatory terms for catamarans like this that are a little bit too creature comforty, right? But with the escape hatches, did you see any? Yeah, CE regulations. It was the European safety regulations that required those escape hatches down below. And what has turned out over the years is that way more boats sank because of those hatches failing than people were saved by the boat being flipped over and being able to escape out of those hatches. So, well, they don't sink and they shouldn't flip over. So as long as we follow those two rules, then we should be okay, right?
Became really problematic.
Yeah, some of the Fontaine Pajots, and it wasn't Fontaine Pajot. It wasn't actually the manufacturer. We can't really blame the manufacturer except for maybe how they responded to the issue. But it was Lumar, right? It was Lumar. It was a manufacturer of those hatches that had some problems with how they were putting those hatches together. They just weren't really up for the job we were asking them to do. It's always beautiful to see the water.
Hatches in the floor right here.
I didn't open those up. Did you? That could be one. We might look. We'll have a look. Yeah, nice surprise. We'll take a picture and put that in there. Yeah, great storage spaces. The semi-island style bed also really nice to be able to get on and off the bed without having to crawl over anybody or crawl over the end of the bed. Right, that can be a real nuisance. Yeah. Now, to talk about the part nobody wants to talk about, what's the problems on this boat? We know we found one, right? We actually, one of our instructors brought this boat down from the US, and halfway down or so, quite a ways offshore, they ran into a problem with the steering system. Do you remember that issue? Yeah. Do you remember what the details were on that? No, it was the way that they had installed the steering tube and the way that the rudder post went through that tube. And so a lot of boats, most catamarans, are going to have some sort of a steering tube that connects up from the floor, back in the mechanical space and comes up. And that will, somehow it's attached to the hull, right? Well, on these boats, and there's a lot, this isn't the only one that did it. There's lots of boats that have done guilty of the same thing. That tube was just held in place basically with Sikaflex, with like a silicone product. And what happened was the bushings on the rudder post seized, a little bit of corrosion. It didn't take much. They sort of the steering got a little bit stiff. Those bushings seized around it. They're attached very firmly into that tube. And so what happened as the boat was steering, the whole entire rudder tube was steering with it. It was just glued, and not even glued, just silicone sealant is what attached it. So then as that thing twisted, it broke that seal and some water started coming in. Not enough that the bilge pumps couldn't deal with it. And Mark was able to put something together to do that. But as soon as we got the boat here, we took care of that problem.
Innovation for a steering system. Is that why they had a problem?
Maybe I don't want to second guess the marine architect's wisdom and why they came up with that system. But what I can tell you is that those tubes are now glassed in. They're now very securely fastened. Right here in Grenada. Yeah, right here in Grenada. Yeah, we did it. I think it was the guys from Palm Tree, Jason Crew, a good friend of ours, and a very talented marine engineer, mechanic, whatever, jack of all trades when it comes to boats for sure. He put that together. So he replaced the bushings with a more robust system that would not be subject to that same issue. Basically, put bearings in there, and then they glassed in that tube and basically made it so that that problem can never happen again. Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, you don't want to, not everything's perfect, but we can figure that stuff out, right? And that's how it happens. I'm really happy that we were able to get that taken care of and that it didn't cause a bigger problem than it did. But yeah, it's something to look out for. If you are interested in these boats, you might want to definitely ask about the steering system and how that's been dealt with, or if it's been dealt with. Imagine there's a lot of boats that just have never had the problem. It's just they're still working and it works. If it was that bad, they would have done away with it a long time ago. Yeah. But it's something to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Down from the States.
It was a long trip down, right? They came down from Chesapeake area and sailed that boat down. Had, I think, one stop in the Bahamas for, what was it, like a bilge pump issue or something, smaller issue. And then did basically the rest of it in one big jump, I think, down to Antigua and then bounced down to here. So, yeah, absolutely. Anything else we want to talk about on the boat? Yeah. Beautiful boat. If you guys have any questions about this boat or any of the other boats that we have in our fleet, if you're thinking about coming sailing with us, or that we have listings, any of our listings, drop a comment below. Feel free to drop me an email. We'll put a link to our sailing school in this video. So if you guys want to learn more about LTD sailing, you can check that out. And if you're in the boat buying process, if you're ready for that stage of your sailing journey, reach out, let us know. It's not always the best way to do it, but if we can help you, we always try and tell our sailing school alumni, we're here as a resource, right? We're trying to help them, whatever their next steps are.
Tell me that they've come down to see if they could actually live on a boat.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they sell everything they own, they come down, they buy a boat, and they figure,
we'll figure it out. We've had a couple instances where that didn't work out well. Yeah. So yeah.
Take the lesson.
Yeah, it's way cheap compared to my boat. So, all right. Well, thanks you guys for sticking around, and we'll look forward to seeing you and hearing from you, and keep an eye out for the next video.